Hey guys, Matt Richard here, back for another lesson in our mode series of our Guitar 101, sort of introduction to foundational theory and concepts, as applied to guitar. So of course music theory is music theory, no matter what instrument you're playing, but I have a set of tools that I use all the time and I feel are very important for pretty much all guitar players. It really doesn't matter the genre, whether you're rock, metal, blues, country, whatever. This stuff is all very, very usable and part of a system that I teach. So I wanted to break this stuff down into some really small, bite-sized lessons. And so what we're doing, if you've been playing along up to this point, we've been working through the modes. And we started at C, which of course C major, that's the first mode, Ionian. And we learned that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we learned how the degrees are numbered. Well, we're on the fifth mode. So the fifth mode is Mixolydian. We did Lydian in the previous lesson, which was number 4. So now we're in Mixolydian, which is number 5. So fifth mode, Mixolydian. How do we get Mixolydian? Well, we use our system that we've been using, where we take C major and we write it out, C to C. But we know we're going to start on the fifth note to get Mixolydian. That's all we have to do to get these modes. We play the C major scale in this, because that's the key we're using is C major. We play the C major scale, but we start on G. So instead of playing C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, we play G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Same thing. Of course, these notes just keep going on forever and ever and ever until you run out of frets or keys in the piano or what have you. So G Mixolydian. As far as the chords to play over, because we always talk about how important it is, right? We are going, for the sake of today's topic, we're going to play over a G major chord. Okay, we talked about, actually in one of our first lessons on how to build chords, that we could also build 7 chords, like a G major 7. We are not doing 7 chords today. We are only playing over a G major. This G major 7, if you encounter that, that's going to pose a problem with Mixolydian. And we're going to talk about that. I'm going to do a sort of a part 2 to this lesson in the very near future. So just keep an eye on the channel and on Facebook and stuff if you want that one. It's very, very cool. But for today, for simplicity, since we're mostly talking about these rock chords where we're dealing with, just 3 notes, that kind of stuff, where we're only dealing with, in this case, a G, B, and D is all we're playing, okay? We're not dealing with a major 7, just a plain old major chord, bar chord. That's what we're gonna deal with today. So don't worry about the dominant. We're gonna kind of put that on the side for now. The 5 is dominant. You learned it, remember it. We're going to come back to it, and it's going to get very, very cool in a little bit. But let's just talk about Mixolydian today over a major chord, okay? So G major. So we know we play C major, plain old C major scale, but over a G. So let's get right into the demo. Let's do what we always do. Let's fire up good old Mr. Cheesy Drum Machine. All right? Got a cool little kind of, jazzy, funky thing going on with sounds like a clavinet or something. Let's play C major. Couldn't help myself. So C major, that was C major scale over C major cheesy backing band. So what happens if we do our modal trick and we just drop a G major into the backing track to make this now G Mixolydian instead of C major? Let's listen to that. This is, by the way, if you can't tell, I usually get enthusiastic about the ones that I like. This is one of my favorites. G Mixolydian. Mixolydian in general is probably my number 2 behind Lydian. These are my 2 favorite modes to play in. All right, so C major scale, same thing. All it did was change from a C major to a G major. different vibe. It does sound a little more major than, say, Lydian does, but that's okay. There is a very, very pronounced difference when you play this mode versus a major scale. And again, you go back and forth and you listen to that, or you do it yourself. You know, play C major over a C major chord, and then play C major over a G major chord. You'll hear. And I'm about to show you what the difference is. It's actually only one note, but that note makes a huge impact as far as the listener is concerned to our ear when it's modified. And here's the note that changes. Okay, we always talk about what's the other way we can do the modes, right? Well, we have that numbering system we do. We number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, if those were the numbers of a C major scale. And then we say, okay, which of these notes do we need to change? If I wanted to start on a different note, like A, for instance. Let's say I was given an A major chord, but I wanted to play A Mixolydian instead of A major. So we know A major is this. Right, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then that's, of course, the octaves. It starts over again. Okay, well, what if I wanted to play Mixolydian? Well, we see by my diagram, everything is the same till we get to the very last note, and we just flat the 7. That's it. This note right here is all that makes major Mixolydian. So in this case, the go-to secondary, system for Mixolydian is just play the major scale and you drop the 7. So what does that look like? Well, let's test it out. I'm going to do A just to change. I like to change keys on these to demonstrate. If you didn't know the key, if you said, I've never played anything in A major before in my life. Well, if you know this, if you know C major, if you know A major pattern, okay, you would go down, of course, you go to your root A, you play A major. That's the 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Well, we just drop that note a half step. Right? Very cool. Super easy. We don't have to learn a bunch of crazy new, it's not a whole new scale. It's just the major scale with one note dropped. And so you start working your way through that and come up with some nice, patterns that you like. That dropped 7 is what gives it that sound. You noticed when I came back down, that whole step between the 7 and the root, which is what happens. Normally this is only a half step. Normally on a major scale, going from the 7 to the root, you have that kind of thing. But when you have that whole step, really kind of a almost, cinematic sound to it, if you will. It's hard to put these colors into words sometimes, but Mixolydian again is one of my other favorites. So to recap, we know it's the 5th mode. We can play G to G, but play C major just over a G chord. Right? As G is our bass, so we always resolve the G. That's why you should play along with a drum machine or some YouTube backing tracks or something. Even software, there's stuff like Band in a Box and things like that you can get that will play, backing tracks for you. So use that so that you can learn how these modes sound over the chords. And we've got our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 flat 7 approach. Just flat the 7, lower the notch. Remember, flat, a little tiny B means lower it 1/2 step. So we start on whatever note we want. Let's pick a different one. Let's go to D. Let's play D, right? D major. D. Lower the 7. That's D Mixolydian. D major. D Mixolydian. And again, we're only talking about major chords. Hold tight if you want to know about the 7s and the dominant 7s and what all that means. We're going to get into that. That is such to me, a deep topic that we're going to spend a whole lesson just talking about the 5 chord and the dominant nature of it and how that affects what we play against it, because it does cause some interesting things to happen. And also, what happens when, say, it's there, the 5 chord is there, but no one is playing a 7? What do you play? Well, this gets very interesting. So we will cover that in a separate lesson. So for now, work on your Mixolydian stuff, have fun with it. You know, listen to that tonality. It's one of my favorites. I love that it's kind of major, but it's kind of not. It sort of has a Lydian sound. It's a cool mode. So have fun with it. You know, jam. Let me know how you're digging this stuff. You know, if you have any stumbling blocks or anything, make sure you check the blog out. There's always supplemental text in the blog on the website, as well as like tab, any chord diagrams, any of that stuff that I talk about in these lessons. This stuff is contained there in a much neater fashion than my doctor's handwriting on a whiteboard. Okay, so hope you enjoy this, guys. Hope you're getting some value out of it. Again, Matt Richard here, Guitar 101 series. Hope you're having fun with it. And I will see you next lesson for the next mode.